You don't need another marketing course. You don't need a 97-step funnel. You need clarity. You need consistency. You need connection. And honestly, you've already have them. You're just not using them. Not yet. But today, we're going to jump in and we're going to use those. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to show you, tell you, and give you the absolute key to success that's contained in those three C's: clarity, consistency, and connection. Let's do it. Hi, my name is Steve Kidd. I'm a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 38 books and counting. I've had the marvelous privilege of working with 5,000 people, helping them write, publish, market their books to bestseller, and everything that goes beyond that. And more importantly than that, I am here to help you architect, to create the architecture for your visibility. I am the visibility expert that is here to show up for you, to show you how to be visible and valuable. Doesn't matter how you feel about you. I want to show you just how incredible you are, and then help you design, create, architect the absolute beautiful foundation, and then edifice, if you will, the giant, wonderful, amazing, world-changing building that is you showing up in the world. You can do it. You absolutely should do it. I believe in you, and I know that you will. And it works, starts, finishes, and ends with the three C's: clarity, consistency, and connection. You see, if you're online, which you are because you're listening to this, and if you stopped in the scroll, which you did because you're listening to this, and you're now paying attention to what I'm saying, then you've been bombarded already in the last 2 minutes you've been on, or multiple hours you've been on, by all kinds of different strategies. Do this strategy, do that strategy. Because I come from book world, because I've spent a lot of time with authors, Facebook and other social medias that tend to look at your cookies and things like that and figure out what it is that they think, at least, you want to talk about, you're searching for, and then give you the ads based on that. There's even some talk about your phone listening to what you're saying and then giving you information based on that kind of stuff. So if you're talking about, like I am, about books, then you get all these ads about books, and there are a ton of them. Write your book in an hour, use this AI, and don't have to know anything at all. You can be the stupidest bleepity bleepity bleep bleep bleep. I didn't curse. I was going there. I know you heard me almost go there. In the world, and you can just plug in a bunch of nonsense into this AI program, and you are going to write a book. And I love the ones even more than that tell you, sell millions of copies of your book today. And I'm like, all right, I had a good friend of mine that actually hosted somebody that was doing a webinar that was called How to Write and Publish Your Bestseller in an hour. And I was like, and I have a Write Your Bestseller in 1 hour workshop. I've had it for, almost a decade now. 2015, at the end of this year, it will be a decade. And yet the truth of the matter is, I could show you how to do the outline of how to write your book in an hour. I could do an interview with you and interview you and get the content, the basic content for your book in an hour. If you had a really great story developer and a really great editor, you could give it to them and they could very quickly make it a done, finished, boom book. You could very conceivably. I have a weekend, write your bestseller in 3-day weekend kind of a deal. And we go from start to finish, including publishing, including technically Monday. So it's, Friday afternoon through Sunday. And then technically Monday is launch day. Because here's the truth. If you put your book out on Amazon today, you can't hit the bestseller list until minimum of tomorrow. And then that's before you get into the algorithm of Amazon. And I tell you that, especially if it's your first book, but just in generally speaking, Amazon statistics for .com, in other words, the US, are about 18 to 24 hours behind. So right now it is 12:08 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we are seeing, which would be 10:08 a.m. Pacific Time, which is what Amazon's company runs on. They're on the West Coast. So we're seeing the reflection of the 10 a.m. 24 hours ago, basically, the books that were selling the very best in the 10 o'clock hour, 10 a.m. hour yesterday. It's just the nature of it. So anybody that's promising you that kind of stuff, they either don't know what they're doing, they're lying to you, or there's some other kind of scam running there. And I'm always just trying to come clear and correct with you. But you see all those kind of things, and it gets us all convinced we need more strategy. Strategy without you is just more noise. We've had the discussion about how, a month ago now, I was talking to ChatGPT and about, whether or not I should even continue on in the space that I'm doing and whether I should continue doing the things. And you've watched over the course of this last month me blossom and grow and get clearer, because clarity comes through the doing more than it does even through the, some kind of ChatGPT program you can run or those kind of things. And often when you speak it out is the best time. Your ears hear it and you're like, ooh, I liked what I just said there. I have that one. Actually, there's a live that I did, and I was looking at some of the clips that Descript helped me create, and it actually had, and I didn't put it in the short clip because it doesn't really add to it, but it was exciting in the live to see me go, ooh, I like that. I said that. Ooh, that's really good. And you should be the first person who's convinced. If you don't heart up your post, why should anybody else? I mean, yeah, you can give it a, but why not give yourself a heart? I can tell you, statistically speaking, Amazon's algorithm gives weight to hearts. The little thumbs up these days do next to nothing to the algorithm of Facebook, because there's just too many of them. Too many people just go through, click, 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 click. And you got to hold it and wait a second. There's got to be some intentionality for that heart or the other, the hug, or, the laugh or whatever. And so those have more weight now. And why wouldn't you heart up your own stuff? I mean, why wouldn't you love it? Even if it's something crazy you said, why not? Okay, so we don't need more strategy, because without you in it, without the clear you, without you speaking you out, it's just more noise. And you're the signal, not the noise. And what you want to be sure to stay away from is just creating noise and just filling yourself, even more so, filling yourself with more noise. That's where a lot of us get into problems, because, we see this thing and it's only, like $7. Has anybody seen that one? And you can get it and it's like $2, or, this is free if you pay shipping and handling or whatever, it's super cheap. And you're like, yeah, I do want to sell 1 million copies of my book. I'm going to get this thing. I can tell you from experience, I joined a course. This was about 3 months ago. Okay. And I'm not going to name the name of the person, but, all of his ads are about, massive amounts of selling of your book. And I won't say what system he uses, because you would totally know who it is then. And I was like, all right, I could probably learn some things from this person. And the course was super cheap. It was like $97 or something like that. Or maybe it was $97 for the first month with the money back guarantee, which, those ones are even more enticing, because you're like, well, I'll take it. And then if it's stupid, I'll just, get my money back, right? And then how many times don't we remember to get our money back? I'm like, oh man, I should have got my money back on that. But I can tell you from experience, the guy was a horrible teacher. I think he knows his stuff. I think he really is an expert, and probably has a really powerful done for you program that can show some pretty good results. And it really just ultimately had to do with a way to get to having a really solid, really high performing, ad on Facebook. The thing that he missed totally is He totally missed the whole mindset and the starting and the knowing you and the clarity piece of it. He just said, throw the thing out. Didn't even really define how you're throwing out these first things. So you just come up with whatever crazy comes into your head and then test that. And then, well, if the statistically that doesn't show up well enough, well, then just do 12 more and do 12 more and just spend more and more and more money. Well, yeah, if you spend enough money on Facebook and you just throw out a bunch of crazy stuff, you're probably going to accidentally at some point stumble accidentally onto something that works. You won't know why, and it's going to more than likely be trend based rather than strategy and structure and intelligence and clarity based. And so it won't be duplicatable and it won't be sustainable. Too many think knowing the material and teaching it is another one to another one are the same skill. Oh, no, they're not. You could know the stuff really, really well and be a horrible teacher. Or you could be an amazing teacher. My father, oh my gosh, my father was an amazing Bible teacher. And he dug out some stuff and could just really, really was an amazing, amazing teacher. And the flip side to it is he had flaws, many. I mean, my mom and him got divorced. So, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole, but, that tells you that, he was good at some things and not good at others. It's the nature of life. You may be really brilliant. You may need somebody to come in and help you put together that course. You may even need somebody to create that course for you. That's why I love my friend Mary. Mary does an amazing job making, actionable, they have all kinds of gamification kind of courses. Now I can make a course. I can throw together some videos and put them out there. I actually am pretty good at creating custom GPTs that will take you down a journey and really do that. And I love doing those kind of things. But, when it comes to the nitty gritty of putting it into whatever it might be, Kajabi, Go High Level, whatever kind of system, I like to have other people do that because it just drives me nuts. A good friend of mine wrote a book called Stop Doing the Things That You Suck At. And that's so true. We just bring in all this information. We make all of this noise. I love this. My notes over here. I wasn't going to really pay much attention to my notes, but it caught my eye. This is the joke that ChatGPT wants me to tell you, okay? Tell me if this is funny. You've got more PDF downloads than you have clarity. Kind of true, really, though, isn't it? I mean, our computers are filled with information, stuff that we've created ourselves that we've never done things with. How about we just use the things that are us? How about we take all these documents, partial documents, concepts, ideas, thoughts that we had one day. We take them all together and we dump them into ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm not even totally sure what to do with this, but can you give me some suggestions? Or better yet, can you tell me what the messaging, what's the underlying concept that all of this random stuff that I keep creating and not putting out is doing? And maybe through that, you can even discover what's stopping you from putting it out. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's the hiding, like we talked about yesterday. Maybe it's not good. Sometimes it's hard for us to admit we do something and we're just really madly in love with it. And when we look at it later, and we're like, ooh, this is not good. I just re-released, this was a couple of weeks ago. We did a whole week where you could get Write Your Bestseller Today, Write Your Bestseller Today, Write Your Bestseller Today, the book, for free. I had to, mostly completely rewrite that book because it was not good, because it hadn't been fully edited. I did it as part of that bestseller this weekend course, and I did it right alongside of them. I showed them rather than telling them. And I said, all right, you guys, here's your homework assignment. I'm going to be doing it too. And they took that homework assignment and put together their, their stuff. And I did the same thing. And then I used that and we, did some basic editing. And I showed them how to use Grammarly in a good and what the bads of Grammarly are. Actually, technically, in that particular course, we also did a book with the person who was hosting that for me because I was doing it for somebody's group. So, to show them and not tell them, I was like, look, here's my book, and I'm going to launch it because that person, we launched their book in their account, and I launched my book in my account. And it wasn't good. Honestly, it just really wasn't. And I had to go back and edit it, for all the grammar editors that were in it. We had done that, a couple of years ago. And I went back and I rewrote the whole book because it really needed to give you so much more because I've got more clarity because, sometimes all that stuff has a thread of something that people really, 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 really need to know. But we didn't really have the clarity to know who we are, to know what to do. Speak out your truth, whatever that is. Speak out your truth in fuzzy bunny slippers and a t-shirt and sweats, or, this time of year, probably shorts. Speak out your truth with the air conditioner and the fan going in the background. I turned mine off this morning. And luckily it's only 88 and windy, and it was on just before I went live, so it's pretty okay in the room right now. And I'll turn them back on immediately as soon as we're done going live here. Speak it, don't think it. Clarity comes from the doing, not from the imagining. See, you can think about, oh, I wish I was doing this thing. Oh my gosh, I wish I was standing in front of a crowd of 10,000 people delivering my talk. Have you delivered your talk in front of the mirror? Have you said it to one person? If you were asked to go someplace and talk for an hour on a subject, do you have an outline for that? Or, because, I know people like me that are very extemporaneous. They kind of have some notes and some concepts. And then when I'm really in the zone, and you'll notice this because you'll see me look over here when you're looking at me, looking at my notes. And when I'm really in the zone, I'm just zoned in right here on you. Sometimes I don't even notice when Patricia or other people are making comments because I'm just really zeroed in on that camera because I want to talk to you. Can you take a subject and zero in on that audience? Do you get stuck in your head as to when should I walk? When should I stand still? What hand do I hold the mic in? It's bugging my ear that I've got that ear thing over my ear. Or can you just stand and deliver? Are you hung up on your capability to perform it? And I'm not dissing the performance coaches. I have some really good friends that are amazing performance coaches. And when you get to the point where you can not just say it, but perform the thing, that's even better. But are you hung up on whether or not you can perform it? Or are you focused on making sure that message gets through? And can you say it in such a way that if you take a total left turn at Albuquerque, you can still clearly deliver that message? You can rein yourself back in. I've shown you tons and tons and tons of times this last month how it is to get completely off track. Totally, completely gone. Like, where did Steve go? Come back into, it's like I've walked off the stage and I'm in the back, behind, standing next to the guy that's running the lighting console, still delivering my talk. And I got to come back to center stage, where all the lights have been designed to focus your beautiful face. You have to be able to just stand and deliver. More than the performance, more than anything, the clarity is going to come from you standing solidly center stage under the spotlight. In this case, the spotlight is right there. It's that little camera. That is your whole audience. The comments that are being made don't matter. The heat around the room, the do you or don't you have a ring light? I have a ring light. I stopped using it because I have a 44-inch, maybe it's even a 46-inch, whatever, TV, HD TV here, and I have a 28-inch. This one's a monitor actually here, okay, and they're both on white pages, so I'm pretty, pretty well lit. I can go live in the middle of the night, and I don't normally even need to turn on my overhead light. Now, technically speaking, from a lighting standpoint, and I've done that in times past in my life, I really should turn over the overhead light because every once in a while you see how I go just a little fuzzy. And that's because I've got this virtual background. I don't know if that's actually his lyrics, but thanks now I have Stand and Deliver stuck in my head. Yeah, I was thinking actually of the movie Stand and Deliver, but yeah, that one too. You see, you've got to be clear. Clarity, I love this statement. Clarity isn't a light bulb, it's a faucet. Clarity is you dumping into the cup and getting all the muck out so that then the only thing that spills out is the overflow of your abundant messaging until you get to the point where you question it. I love it when I question. I didn't understand this until just a few days ago. Okay, so don't feel judged by this at all. But I love it now when I question whether I'm on track. I just about every day in my little format that I've got here with ChatGPT for creating descriptions and stuff. I love that I'm asking, am I on track? And questioning whether I am. Because it's in that overflow and in the fact that I think, have I said that too much? Did I get too raw and real? Did I go too deep into just this one thing? That I then need to check with some third-party sources. And I ask people too, hey, how was that? How awful was it? You want to be at that place where you check yourself. You have AI check you. You have friends check you. So that you are just purely pouring out. Just flow. Right now, you're kind of an empty cup. And you just need to turn on the faucet of yourself. And you need to fill you up to the brim. And then start overflowing. And that overflow is going to spill out onto other people. That's the way it's going to work. Your number one person that you need to reach right now is you. And part of why you need to not only just be clear, but you need to be consistent is because you need to be consistent. You need the habit. It needs to be non-negotiable. I was having a discussion with a good friend of mine that happens to also be the person that runs my LinkedIn. And we were talking about some of those kind of things. There's some spiritual stuff happening. That's the only way I know how to say it. Everybody that I know that is trying to do good in the world is having some roadblocks. Varying levels of success, but they're having roadblocks. Things that are coming up that are just really wacky and out of this world. And it's real easy to get to the point where you begin to question all of it. Should I just stop doing this? The consistency comes in because then you create it as a habit. Then it becomes a non-negotiable. And I suggested to her, I said, hey, look, what you need to do is you need a time every single day that you are pouring out your best, just the best you today, whatever that might be. Hey, folks, I'm really, really tired today. What I want to do is just come in here today and just give you a couple of things. You pick up the phone. I'm giving you 5-second clips. Now, I would suggest you really block off an hour and you spend some of that time honing the messaging and going live and spending more than 5 seconds live. Because it's going to take your ears a long time to hear what's coming out of your mouth. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So your mouth needs to speak. And if there's a bunch of vile crap coming out of your mouth, guess what? There's a bunch of vile crap down inside of you. And the only way to get it out is to get it out. You know what it's like when you're really, really, your stomach's really upset? Now, yeah, there are some of us that throwing up is just like the last thing we're willing to do. And I can tell you from experience, you'll fight your way through it and you don't have to. But I used to be married to a woman who, when she would get sick like that, we'd both get like food poisoning from a restaurant or something. Like within minutes, she'd just go and throw up and she'd be fine. And I'd suffer through it, fighting the one not wanting to throw up. Who is really the dummy? Yes, throwing up is horrible, but you need to get all that stuff out. If you need to go live and just rant and rave and shout and curse and be mad at the world and hate God or whatever you need to do, if that's what all the vile crap that's inside of you, then let it out. Let your ears hear. Oh my gosh, I hadn't really heard how just really, really depressed and down and icky. Is that who you want to be? You see, when you say it consistently, consistently speaking. So again, clarity, consistency, connection, they're not three different things. They're all one that come together. When you're consistently just talking, talk about what's going on, talk about what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Vulnerability is valuable. People get the best from us when we just give them the real. When we stop trying to play this, trying really hard not to curse today. Don't know why, but I just decided I was going to try not to curse too much today. And we get stuck in this stupid stuff. And we just keep going over and over and over and over with it. But it's running around. It's not coming out of our mouth. It's rolling around in our head. And our minds are like that. We get into this feedback loop of negative thoughts and of doom and gloom and of less than and of lack and all those kind of things. And it just rolls around and around and around and around and around. It has nowhere to go. The easiest thing to do is to vomit it out, spew it out. Yeah, do it live. Even if you gotta, at the end of that, or tomorrow, or 10 months from now, you gotta come back and go, hey, on June the 23rd, 2025, maybe it's 5 years from now. On June the 23rd, 2025, oh boy, did I spew some vile stuff. And I apologize for it. You see, all we can do about the past is if we screwed up, apologize for it, and maximize today. Tomorrow's going to get here way too soon anyway. It's already the 23rd of June of 2025. Where in the heck has this year gone? How long have I been talking to you about blocking off time in your calendar every day? Have it be the non-negotiable. And just begin speaking. Clearly say wherever you are, whatever you are. Right now, you're going to get more and more and more and more clear. And you're going to get to the message that is absolutely going to change the world. But right now, you just need to talk consistently, clearly. This is who I am. This is where I am. This is who I am today. This is where I am today. Now, yes, that's where we get to the third C, and that's connection. Because when we, and again, these are all the same, we put it together. Because if we just go online and we just want to spew our vile crap all over the world, what good does that do you or anybody else? But if we're doing it consistently and we're adding in there the element of connection, We're doing it to connect one to another. Because then all of that awful stuff that you're feeling, now it's a bridge to somebody else that's going through that too. How many of you today are feeling like, I can ask you that. I don't even have to do it as a, sort of example. I'll go real with you because I always am. How many of you today are feeling like, though you have made money, you've lost the capability to get people to spend money with you? That for some reason, you have turned your attraction magnet into a detractor magnet, and nobody wants to spend money with you anymore. That may not necessarily be true if we go back and look at your sales, but how many of you are feeling that way today? Now, there's some stuff, and like I said earlier, there's some spiritual things going on that a lot of people are experiencing that too. You see, it's still icky. It's still me spewing out negativity that I wish wasn't stuff that was coming out of my mouth. But I'm just being real with you. I'm just telling you the stuff. It's been a yucky year, the last 12 months, and especially this calendar year. And it's easy to let that message in your head, in my head, roll around and tell me that I'm done, that I'm over, that it's not enough. And yet, in the same moments, I can look at all the cool things that are happening behind the scenes. Did you see my new website? I finally have a website that I want to brag about. Go to thrivingbestseller.com and check out my website because I really love it. It's pretty. It looks good. Makes me look professional. I'm excited about it. Do you have a clear messaging? Have you spent the deep, hard time looking at all the stuff that you could do as opposed to the shoulding yourself? You should do this, should do that, should do the other thing. Running around shouldn't. You're shouldn't pudding. What could you do? What can you do? You see, I'm here today for more than anything else to connect to you. Whether you're on live, Patricia, thank you. I appreciate that you're here live and that you're making comments. It means a lot to me. It's always easier to be able to talk to somebody. But if there was 0 people on, and there's been many days when I've talked to 0, and I do a radio show, and when I seam together the interviews are with the person that I'm interviewing, but then I do it all. I do it in a bubble here in my house, and I have to, put it out as though I'm talking to the about 8 million people that I'm told listen to it live or have the capability of to, or whatever. Radio statistics are weird like that. If I came in low energy and like, welcome to Thriving Entrepreneur. Thanks for being here today. I know nobody's listening. There's nobody on. How exciting would that show be? You wouldn't make it past my person that did my intro for me, you'd listen to that. And Mark Pogue, my good friend that wrote the song Money Can't Buy, that is the intro music for it. And then if I came in and I'm like Eeyore, if it's all the same to you. If I came in with that energy, you'd be like, well, that's not something I need to listen to. Even if you're driving down the road in the car, because it's a radio station, you'll find another radio station to listen to. But when I come on and I'm like, hi, this is Steve. Welcome to Thriving Entrepreneur. Thanks for being with me here today. So excited to have you here today. Today, we're going to talk about, you see the difference? Because I want to connect with the people. Yes, clarity in that we talk it out. We work our way through it, and we get clearer and clearer with each word that comes out of our mouth. even when you say the word each and it sounds kind of like H. Because you can make fun of yourself too and have fun with it while you're getting that clarity. When you do it consistently, when people know, just like you know, every day, 6 o'clock, there's the 6 o'clock news. Or you know that every day, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox News is the Gutfeld Show. It's the only news program I like watching, and only just because they're irreverent and funny. And most of the times when they start actually talking about the news, I kind of wander off or, check my phone or stuff. And then if they say something funny, I come back and I laugh at it. Now, yeah, my brother and my mom, they're glued to the news all day long. I don't want that in my life. That's not saying that it's not okay for them. It's just not okay for me. But I know every day that's when that show's on. If you set your DVR, which I have, if you set your DVR for your favorite TV show, and it doesn't have to be a new show, evidently, just using another show that my mom loves, Blue Bloods. Blue Bloods had its final season this last couple of months ago. And evidently there's a new spin-off series that Donnie Wahlberg, Danny Reagan, is going to be doing. It's coming straight out of Blue Bloods. But whether you're talking about Blue Bloods or that show, it's going to be on at a specific time of the day. And you program your DVR and it records it. And then you go and you watch it. Imagine if every time you turned it on, there was a different show and you just never knew what you got. And, you turned on the guide, if you've got cable, you got that little guide button and it said such and such was on and you turned on that show and it's completely not that. And it does do that every once in a while. Sometimes the guides are wrong. But what if it was like that all the time? It just randomly put out stuff. It may as well just be ASCII characters, exclamation marks and squiggly lines and stuff like that. Because what difference would it make? Consistency. To why? To connect. Those 3 C's. That is the secret to your success. And then, of course, you've got to have a way to invite people in, just like this. I am your architect of transformation and visibility, and I want to help you out. Come join us in the Visibility Amplifier community. You can get there by going to https://visibilityamplifier.com, or I can click on this link and I can copy that address and I can put it in here. See, I'm not just showing you, I'm not just telling you, I'm doing both. I want you to understand you're not stuck, and it's time to stop waiting. Start talking. Your clarity is going to follow that. Do it consistently with the intention of connecting to the person that you are meant to serve. They'll be glad you did. You'll be glad you did too. All right? Can you do that? I appreciate it. Thanks for being the amazing, wonderful, incredible you that is you. Thanks for showing up today, live or on the replay. I appreciate you. More than anything, thanks for going live and sharing who you are clearly, consistently, to connect to people and make the difference in this world that only you can make. Till we're together again next time, I hope you have a great week.